Okay, for the curtains you can see I've already installed the tracks into the van. These are the ones around the cab. I've at the front there in the centre, because there's going to be two curtains, made an overhang so that they'll actually, one curtain will go over the other, save gaps and people being able to look through. In the doorway you will see actually up inside the pelmet that I put up, the track is hidden away there. Same over the window, there's the pelmet, and hidden away up inside is the curtain track. Now we just need to measure up what we need and go and make some curtains to fit. Right, making the curtains for the van. There's nothing technical to it, as long as you can do a straight line with the sewing machine and you follow a few basic principles, then that's it. It's a little bit mundane, a little bit laborious because there's a lot of sewing to do. Right, materials I'm going to be using. First I've got this, which is going to be the actual curtain fabric. Blends in reasonably well with the colours I've got, but doesn't disappear into them, so that will be a nice match for it. Then I've got a lining cloth, because you close up to your curtains in a camper van, or a caravan even, and you don't want people being able to see every movement that's going through. So a lining cloth, apart from also helping with the installation, it stops people being able to see straight through them. And you'll need the same amount of fabric on the lining as you do with the main curtain fabric. Then we've got the ribbon. Now I've chosen just a 1-inch ribbon, because the curtains are going to be hanging directly from the rail. I don't want to mask the rail with the curtains in any way. If you wanted to cover the rail up, you'd get a wider ribbon, 2 or 3-inch one, and that way you can hook on to the bottom of the ribbon and the curtain would actually hang above the rail itself. And then I've got some one-sided Velcro. The idea is that this stuff will stick to the carpet of the walls. So if I place little pieces here and there, just where it's going to be needed, then when I open the close the curtains, I can just stick it to the walls and it won't flap about and people won't be able to see past it. It's self-adhesive, but I won't be relying totally on the adhesiveness of it. That would just be to prevent or avoid having to use pins. I'll just be able to stick it where I want it and then sew it in place. Right, first we need to work out the measurements. The drop is set. Whatever drop the window is, set roughly how much further down you want to go from the sill or whatever you've got there, and that is set. That is the size of the curtains you can make. The width, however, you work out the width of the window, and that needs to be roughly double. You can get away with a bit less if you need. You can go a bit more if you need. But the idea of increasing it to such a degree is so that you can ripple the curtains, and when the curtains are fully closed, they still have some shape to them. They're not just like a blanket stretched across the opening. The ripples are created with the ribbon. You've got little drawstrings in the ribbon which you'll pull tight, and you can set your ripples at whatever spaces you wish them to be. We'll come on to that when I come to actually fitting them. Right, with the van I need an 850 drop, so allowing for ends and seams I'm going to allow 900. That will give me some turn up. The width of them varies. I've got 2 that are 1200 wide, I've got 1 that's 24 wide. Doubling on that, I've got 2 that's 24 and 1 that's 48. Now, the fabric I've got is 1400. Now if I take 900 off of that, I've got a lot of waste. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that way at 900 there. Give me 1400, and then I will seam it to extend it whatever length I need. That way I'll be using all the material on the roll. So I'll get that marked out and cut up, and then we'll start putting it together.
Take your first step and log on to acfofficer.com to find out more. The Army Cadet Force. Park.co.uk will be found park just off the A689. Follow the signs for Brampton, Junction 44.
Right, what I've done so far is I've stitched down the length of both a lining pair and the fabric pair, making the lengths that I need. Then what we're going to do is stitch them together like you do in an envelope. So we do across the bottom and then up the two sides, making sure that both fabrics are inside out, so that the seams that we've done are facing on the outside. That way then, when we've done it, we can pull it inside out and the seams will be on the inside and all the stitching will be out of sight. Now, just one point to note on this. I don't want to be seeing the lining cloth on the bottom end. So what I'll do is, before I stitch the sides up, I will draw the lining cloth up a little bit, making it shorter than the main fabric cloth. You only want about an inch or so. You can see you've got there about an inch. Draw it up evenly, and then when you stitch the sides and pull it back round the right way, it will give you an inner end of the curtain fabric and not the lining fabric. Little trick I like to use here, with the seams that are running up the curtain. Ordinarily you would iron it all flat and everything and hope it stays there once you turn the curtain inside out, because you can't get to it again afterwards, and if you don't do something with it, it's just going to be a clump. It's spray glue, just a little bit, protecting the rest of the area. Of course you don't want it going all over the place, although it's good stuff, is this, it doesn't actually show through. And just a little bit of spray glue on the underside and push it over. You're not after any heavy duty fastenings, you just want to keep it laying where you want it to be. Like that. That should never be a problem. Right, so that's the envelope made. What we need to do now, pull it back round the right way around. So, like a big pillowcase, pull it back through. Right, the next thing we need to do is trim off the surface at the top, mainly backing cloth that's left over. Then we're going to fold it in on itself, both sides, and on the backing cloth section we're going to attach the tape that we need. Right, now what I want to do is two lines, one at the top and one at the bottom. That both holds the tape on, also it'll hem the top edge, stopping it fraying. And let's get on with that. Okay, that's the first one done. All left to do now is to put the Velcro onto it, but what I'll do is fit it into the band first, mark where I want the Velcro, put the bits on with the adhesive, the self-adhesiveness on the back of them, and then bring them back in here and stitch them into place. Right, once you've got all the curtain hooks on, before you actually hang the curtains, pull out the drawstrings at both ends so that you can get to them. I mean, if you leave them in there, once you've hooked it up, they're a pain to fiddle about to try and pull the things out. So pull them out prior to hanging them. And then the end that's going to slide, that is when you open and close in the curtain, one end will be moving, the other end won't. Whichever end that is, pull a little bit out and tie it off. And then let it pull itself back again. The other end, just give it a bit of a yank to make sure you've got enough there to be able to get hold of, and then you can hang the curtain. Okay, there it is hung. Now as you can see, far too long. Loads of it. But it's not too long. It just looks it because it hasn't been drawn up yet. So, what we do now, take it to its furthest point, take the drawstrings and slowly start pulling it back. There, and keep doing that until the curtain is only just long enough. When you pull it open, keeping hold of that drawstring, it's all there, just long enough. At that point, tie that off first. Now what I want to do is even out these pleats in the curtain, like so. As you can see, if I just left it as it was, it would just whap about and you'd be able to see through the sides. I want it to sit back. So we'll have some there first. Right, so we'll just attach a couple in there first just to make sure we're happy with where it's going to go. Let's say one there. And one at the bottom. Just up from the end. There. Now that will stick to the curve. See? Holds it nice and tight there. So it won't waft about. There, that holds everything nice and closed. Now what we need to do is take them off, whip them back up the workshop and sew them on, and then get on with the next curtains. So what I did here, as you can see, is I used the spray glue again and folded them over prior to stitching up the envelope, and they just sit there exactly where I want them. Now all I've got to do is line up the tape and pin it through. Nice and easy. If you've not used curtain tape before, one point to note on it, you must always turn over the ends at the beginning before you start and at the end as you finish. The reason for this is twofold. One is it stops the ends fraying. It's a ribbon, it frays quite easily, as you can see, it just comes away like that, which is no good. It'll happen very quickly in use, in the wash or whatever. But the other main reason is the drawstrings. If you just have it on the very end, you've got nothing to get hold of to pull out. If you turn it over, as you noticed when I was fitting the last one at the van, you can pull out what is underneath and it will give you a length then to actually work with. So there's the reason, so just remember that when you're fitting it.